The first thing Simone noticed when she opened the app on her phone was the timestamp. 9:47 a.m. She had left for work at 8:30 that morning, kissed Derek goodbye like she did every day and told him she loved him. He had smiled at her, that same smile she'd fallen in love with 7 years ago, and said he'd see her tonight. She'd walked out the door with her coffee in hand, believing she had a normal, happy marriage. Now, sitting in her car in the parking garage at 3 p.m. after a meeting got cancelled, she was scrolling through the nanny cam footage out of boredom. They didn't have children yet, but she'd installed the cameras 2 years ago after a break-in on their street. Derek knew about them. They both checked them sometimes when they were away from home. Made them feel safe. But Derek must have forgotten about the one in the bedroom. Or maybe he thought Simone would never check it. Or maybe he just didn't care anymore. At 9:47 a.m., the bedroom door opened. Derek walked in, but he wasn't alone. A woman followed him. A woman with long brown hair wearing a tight red dress. A woman who was laughing at something Derek had said. A woman who reached for Derek's hand and pulled him toward the bed. Their bed. The bed with the blue comforter Simone had picked out last spring. The bed where she slept every single night next to the man she trusted with her whole heart. Simone's hand started shaking so badly she almost dropped her phone. She wanted to stop watching, wanted to close the app and pretend she'd never seen it. But she couldn't. She sat frozen in her car, watching her husband kiss another woman. Watching him unzip that red dress. Watching him lay this stranger down on their bed. Watching him betray every promise he'd ever made to her. The footage was clear. Too clear. She could see everything. The way he touched this woman. The way he smiled at her. The way he looked at her with the same desire he used to show Simone. Or maybe he still showed Simone that look, but it was a lie now. Everything was a lie. Simone watched for 23 minutes. 23 minutes that destroyed her entire world. When it was over, when Derek and the woman got dressed and left the bedroom, Simone finally moved. She gasped for air like she'd been drowning. Her chest hurt. Her stomach hurt. Everything hurt. She wanted to scream. She wanted to drive home right now and confront him. She wanted to call him and curse him out. She wanted to know who this woman was, how long this had been going on, why he would do this to her. But instead, she sat in her car in the parking garage and cried silently for 10 minutes. Then she stopped crying. She wiped her face. She fixed her makeup using the mirror on her sun visor. And she went back to scrolling through the footage. If this happened today, maybe it had happened before. Maybe there was more. She needed to know everything before she did anything. She went back 1 week. Same thing. 9:52 a.m. Derek and the same woman. In their bedroom. On their bed. Acting like Simone didn't exist. Like their marriage didn't exist. Like 7 years of love and trust and promises meant nothing. 2 weeks back. Again. Same woman. Same bed. Same betrayal. Simone went back through 2 months of footage. It happened every single week. Sometimes twice a week. Always in the morning after Simone left for work. Always the same woman. Derek had been doing this for months right under her nose, in her own home, in her own bed. She felt sick. She rolled down her car window and breathed in the cool air, trying not to throw up. Her phone buzzed with a text message. She looked down at the screen. It was from Derek. "Hey babe, what do you want for dinner tonight? I can pick something up on my way home. Love you. Love you." The words made her want to throw her phone across the parking garage. How dare he say that to her? How dare he act like everything was normal? How dare he lie so easily? Her hands moved across the phone screen before her brain could catch up. She typed back, "Anything is fine. Love you too." She hit send and immediately felt disgusted with herself. But she couldn't let him know that she knew. Not yet. She needed time to think. Time to plan. Time to figure out what to do next. Simone sat in her car for another 30 minutes, thinking. She was a smart woman. She had a successful career in commercial real estate. She made good money. She was independent and strong. But right now she felt broken. She felt stupid for not seeing this coming. Had there been signs? Had she missed something? Was she a bad wife? Was she not enough for him? No. She stopped that thought immediately. This wasn't her fault. She had been a good wife. She had loved him, supported him, trusted him. She had done nothing wrong. This was all on Derek. He was the one who chose to cheat. He was the one who chose to betray her. He was the one who destroyed their marriage. And he would pay for it. She didn't know how yet, but she knew one thing for certain. She was not going to be the crying, broken woman who begged her husband to stay. She was not going to be the fool who forgave him and took him back. She was not going to be the victim. She was going to be the one who came out on top. She was going to be the one who walked away with her dignity, her money, and her life intact. And Derek? Derek was going to lose everything. Simone started her car and drove home. When she walked through the door at 5:30 p.m., Derek was in the kitchen making dinner. He smiled at her like he always did, came over and kissed her cheek like he always did, asked about her day like he always did. And she smiled back, kissed him back, told him about her day like she always did. But inside she was already gone. Inside she was already planning. Inside she was already 3 steps ahead of him. Derek had no idea what was coming. He had no idea that the woman he'd been lying to for months was about to become his worst nightmare. That night, after Derek fell asleep beside her, Simone lay awake staring at the ceiling. She thought about all the mornings she'd kissed him goodbye. All the times she'd told him she loved him. All the times she'd trusted him completely. All of it felt like a joke now. She'd been living in a fantasy while he'd been living a double life. She turned her head and looked at him sleeping peacefully next to her. He had no guilt on his face. No stress. No worry. He thought he was getting away with it. He thought she was clueless. He thought he was so smart. He had no idea that his wife was smarter. And she was about to prove it. Simone called in sick to work the next morning. She never called in sick. In 6 years at her company, she'd used maybe 3 sick days total. But today she needed time. She needed to think clearly without the distraction of meetings and phone calls and client demands. Derek left for work at his usual time, 8:15 a.m. He kissed her forehead and told her to feel better, to get some rest. She watched him walk out the door and waited until she heard his car pull out of the driveway. Then she got up, made herself coffee and opened her laptop. First, she downloaded every single video file from the Nanny cam system. Every angle, every room, every day for the past 6 months. It took 3 hours, but she got it all. She saved everything to an external hard drive, then made 2 backup copies. One she would keep in her office at work. One she would keep in a safety deposit box at the bank. She wasn't taking any chances. While the files downloaded, she went through their shared computer. Derek used it mostly for personal stuff since he had a work laptop. She found his email still logged in. She spent an hour reading through months of messages. Most were boring. Work stuff. Emails from his mom. Spam. But then she found a separate folder. He'd labeled it projects, but when she opened it, there were dozens of emails to and from someone named Amber. Amber. So that was her name. The woman in the red dress. The woman who'd been in Simone's bed. The woman who'd been sleeping with Simone's husband for months. The emails made Simone's stomach turn. Derek and Amber talked about everything. Their feelings for each other. How much they missed each other between their meetings. How exciting and dangerous it felt. How they wished they could be together all the time, but Derek was working on leaving his wife. That line made Simone laugh bitterly. Working on leaving his wife? He'd never said a single word to her about being unhappy. Never mentioned wanting a divorce. Never even hinted at problems in their marriage. She kept reading. Amber knew Derek was married. She knew everything. And she didn't care. In fact, some of her messages suggested she enjoyed the thrill of being with a married man. She called Simone the wife, like she was just an obstacle, not a real person. Like she was nothing. Simone screenshot every single email. She saved them all to the external hard drive with the videos. Then she went through Derek's text messages. He'd deleted most of them, but she had a recovery program from when she'd accidentally deleted some work files last year. She ran it and recovered hundreds of deleted texts between Derek and Amber. More evidence. More lies. More betrayal. By noon, Simone had a complete digital file of Derek's affair. She had video evidence. She had emails. She had text messages. She had dates, times, and details. She had everything she needed. But she still didn't confront him. Not yet. Instead, she spent the afternoon researching. She looked up the laws in their state about adultery and divorce. She learned about asset division and how fault could impact settlements. She learned about her rights. She made a list of everything she owned before the marriage and everything she'd brought into it. The house was in her name only because she'd bought it 2 years before she met Derek. Her car was paid off and in her name. Most of their savings had come from an inheritance she'd received from her grandmother 3 years ago. Derek had contributed some money over the years, but not much. He spent most of his paycheck on his hobbies and going out with friends. She'd always been the responsible one. The more she researched, the more she realized Derek didn't have much ground to stand on. She had been the primary breadwinner. She owned the house. She had put away most of their savings. And now she had proof that he'd been cheating for months. By the time Derek came home that evening, Simone had a plan forming in her mind. She greeted him at the door with a smile. She asked about his day. She made dinner while he watched TV. She acted completely normal. And Derek suspected nothing. That became her routine. Every day she acted like the perfect wife while secretly building her case against him. She would check the nanny cam footage every morning after he left, just to see if he brought Amber over. He did, like clockwork, every Tuesday and Thursday. On Tuesdays, Amber would arrive around 9:30 a.m. and leave by noon. On Thursdays she'd come around 10 a.m. and stay until 1 p.m. They had a schedule. They had a routine. They were comfortable in their affair, thinking they'd never get caught. Simone documented everything. She started a detailed journal with dates, times, and descriptions. She noted when Derek lied to her about where he'd been or what he'd done. She noted when he'd come home late with excuses about work. She noted every time he said, "I love you," while betraying her behind her back. The hardest part wasn't the evidence gathering. It was living with him every day pretending everything was fine. It was sleeping in the same bed where he'd brought another woman. It was kissing him goodbye in the mornings, knowing he'd have Amber in their house within an hour. It was listening to him make future plans with her, talking about vacations they'd take next year, or maybe trying for a baby soon. Every word felt like a knife in her chest. But Simone was strong. Stronger than Derek had ever realized. She'd grown up in a tough neighborhood, raised by a single mother who taught her to never depend on a man for her happiness or security. Her mother had always told her, "Baby, you make your own way in this world. You build your own life. And if a man wants to be part of it, he better add to it, not take from it." Derek had taken from her. He'd taken her trust, her peace of mind, her sense of security. He'd taken 7 years of her life and treated them like they meant nothing. But he wouldn't take anything else. She wouldn't let him. 2 weeks after discovering the affair, Simone went to the bank. She opened a new checking account in only her name at a different bank across town. She didn't close their joint account yet because that would raise suspicion. But she was getting ready. She also started quietly removing things from the house. Nothing Derek would notice right away. Her grandmother's jewelry that she kept in a box in the closet. The photo albums from her childhood. Important documents like her birth certificate and social security card. Her favorite books. Little things that mattered to her. She'd take them to work in her bag and store them in her office. Slowly, carefully, she was erasing herself from the home she'd shared with Derek, preparing for the day she'd leave it all behind. Derek never noticed. He was too busy sneaking around with Amber to pay attention to his wife. He'd stopped really looking at Simone months ago, maybe longer. She'd become background noise in his life, someone who was just there, someone he took for granted. That was his biggest mistake. On a Thursday afternoon, exactly 3 weeks after she'd first discovered the affair, Simone was at work when her assistant buzzed her. "There's someone here to see you. She doesn't have an appointment, but she says it's important." "Who is it?" Simone asked. "Her name is Amber." Simone's heart stopped. Amber was here? At her office? What could she possibly want? "Send her in," Simone said calmly, though her mind was racing. A minute later, the woman from the videos walked into Simone's office. She was shorter than Simone had expected, maybe 5'5", with that same long brown hair. She was wearing jeans and a sweater today, not the red dress. She looked nervous. "Hi," Amber said, standing awkwardly in the doorway. "Are you Simone?" "I am," Simone replied, keeping her voice steady. "Can I help you?" Amber closed the door behind her and sat down in the chair across from Simone's desk without being invited. "I think we need to talk about Derek." Simone felt her blood run cold, but she kept her face neutral. "I'm sorry, do I know you?" I'm someone Derek's been seeing." Amber looked down at her hands. "I didn't know he was married when we started. He told me he was divorced. But then I found out the truth a few weeks ago." Simone wanted to call her a liar. The emails proved Amber knew from the beginning. But she stayed quiet, letting Amber keep talking. "I feel terrible about it," Amber continued. "I wanted you to know. You deserve to know what kind of man you're married to. Derek's been lying to both of us." Still, Simone said nothing. She just stared at Amber, watching her squirm. Finally, Amber stood up. "I'm ending it with him. I just thought you should know the truth. I'm sorry." She walked toward the door. "Amber," Simone said quietly. The woman turned around. "I already knew. I've known for weeks. And those emails you sent him, where you talked about how exciting it was to sleep with a married man. I have those too." Amber's face went white. I don't." "Get out of my office," Simone said calmly. "And stay away from my husband. I'm handling this my way." Amber practically ran out the door. Simone sat back in her chair, her heart pounding. So Amber had tried to come clean, probably because she was feeling guilty or scared of getting caught. It didn't matter. Simone already had everything she needed. And now Amber knew that Simone wasn't some clueless wife who could be easily fooled. That evening, Simone went home and kissed Derek hello like always. She didn't mention Amber's visit. She didn't mention anything. She just smiled and asked what he wanted for dinner. And Derek, oblivious as ever, never suspected a thing. The law office of Patterson and Associates sat on the 15th floor of a downtown building with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Simone had done her research carefully before choosing this firm. They had a reputation for being aggressive, thorough, and expensive. They won cases. They protected their clients. And they didn't mess around. Simone told Derek she had a client meeting that would take most of the day. It wasn't technically a lie. She was meeting with someone who would help her business interests. Her business interest just happened to be divorcing her cheating husband and taking everything she could legally claim. The receptionist led her to a conference room where a woman in her 50s with short silver hair and sharp eyes was waiting. "Mrs. Simone Turner? I'm Patricia Patterson. Please have a seat." They shook hands and Simone sat down, placing the external hard drive on the table between them. "Thank you for seeing me on short notice. Your email mentioned you needed a divorce attorney and that you had documentation of adultery." Patricia opened a leather portfolio and clicked her pen. "Why don't you start from the beginning?" Simone told her everything. About discovering the nanny cam footage. About the emails and text messages. About Amber. About the months of lies. Patricia listened without interrupting, taking notes occasionally. When Simone finished, Patricia looked up. "Do you want to reconcile with your husband?" "Absolutely not," Simone said firmly. "I want a divorce. I want it to be final and clean, and I want him to get as little as possible." Patricia smiled slightly. "Good. Clients who are certain make my job easier. Now let's talk about assets. You mentioned the house is in your name only?" "Yes. I bought it 3 years before we got married. I've paid the mortgage the entire time. Derek's never contributed to it." "Excellent. In this state, property owned before the marriage typically remains separate property." "What about vehicles?" "My car is paid off and in my name. His car is also paid off in his name. We each have our own vehicles." "Savings? Investments? Retirement accounts?" Simone pulled out a folder with printed bank statements. "We have a joint savings account with about $40,000 in it. Most of that came from my inheritance. I have documentation showing the deposits. I also have a retirement account from work that's in my name only, worth about $70,000. Derek has a small 401k from his job, maybe $15,000. Patricia reviewed the statements. "With proof that the savings came from your inheritance, we can argue that it's separate property. At minimum, you'd get the majority of it. The retirement accounts will each remain separate since they're individual accounts." "What does your husband do for work?" "He's a sales associate at an electronics store. He makes about $40,000 a year. I'm a commercial real estate agent and I make around $90,000 plus commissions." "So you've been the primary earner throughout the marriage?" "Yes." "And the affair has been going on for at least 6 months based on your evidence?" "At least. Maybe longer." Patricia set down her pen and looked directly at Simone. "Here's my assessment. You're in a very strong position. The house is yours. The bulk of the savings is yours. You out-earn him significantly. And you have extensive proof of his adultery, which in this state can impact the division of assets and alimony considerations. What that means is that not only will you keep what's rightfully yours, but Derek will have no grounds to claim alimony or support from you. In fact, he'll be lucky to walk away with his car and his 401k. What about the joint savings account? Can he clean it out before I file?" "He could try, which is why I recommend we move quickly. Today, I want you to go withdraw half of that joint account and put it in a separate account in only your name. It's not illegal. It's protecting your interest. If he questions it, tell him you're moving money into a higher yield savings account. Then we'll file the divorce papers within the next 2 weeks." 2 weeks. Simone felt a flutter of panic. "That's so fast." "It needs to be. The longer you wait, the more opportunity he has to hide assets, drain accounts, or create problems. You've done your homework. You have your evidence. Now we need to act on it." Patricia leaned forward. "I also recommend changing your direct deposit for your paycheck. You said you have a new account already?" "Yes, at a different bank." "Good. Change your direct deposit to that account today. Don't tell Derek. Any money you earn from this point forward is yours. If he asks about a missing paycheck, tell him there was a delay at work. By the time he figures out something's wrong, The divorce papers will be filed. Simone nodded, her mind spinning. This was really happening. She was really doing this. One more thing, Patricia said. You mentioned the other woman's name is Amber. Do you know her last name? Where she works? Her last name is Collins. She works at, I think it's Family First Insurance. It's one of those companies that's big on family values and Christian principles. I saw it in her email signature. Patricia made a note. Perfect. Companies like that tend to have morality clauses in their employment contracts. If they found out an employee was knowingly involved with a married man, especially if there's proof, they might terminate her employment. You want me to tell her employer? I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm simply informing you that it's an option. Some clients find it therapeutic. Others don't care. It's entirely up to you. Patricia closed her portfolio. Now let's talk about my fees and the next steps. They spent another hour going over paperwork, timelines, and strategy. Patricia's retainer was $5,000, but Simone had been saving money in her personal account for weeks now, anticipating this cost. She wrote the check without hesitation. As she left the office, Simone felt different. Lighter somehow. For weeks, she'd been carrying the weight of Derek's betrayal alone, pretending everything was fine. But now she had an ally. She had a plan. She had a way forward. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about justice. It was about taking back control of her life. She went straight to the bank and withdrew $20,000 from the joint account, depositing it into her new account. Then she went to her office and changed her direct deposit information in the company's HR portal. Her next paycheck, due in 5 days, would go to her new account. Derek would never see it. That evening, Derek was in a good mood. He'd sold a big-ticket item at work and earned a commission. He suggested they go out to dinner to celebrate. Simone agreed, even though the thought of sitting across from him at a restaurant made her feel sick. But she smiled and got dressed and went to dinner and pretended to be happy for him. At the restaurant, Derek held her hand across the table. You know, I'm really lucky to have you, he said. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. Simone looked at him, this man she'd loved for 7 years, this man who'd betrayed her in the worst way possible, and she felt nothing. No love. No anger. Just emptiness. I'm glad you think so, she said. He didn't notice the coldness in her voice. He never noticed anything about her anymore. When they got home, Derek wanted to be intimate. Simone made an excuse about being tired, about not feeling well. He looked disappointed but didn't push. She went to bed and turned away from him, staring at the wall until she heard his breathing slow into sleep. Soon, she thought. Soon this would all be over. Soon she'd be free of him. Soon she'd have her life back. The next morning, while Derek was in the shower, his phone buzzed on the nightstand. Simone glanced at it and saw a text from Amber. We need to talk. Call me. So Amber hadn't ended it after all, despite what she'd said in Simone's office. Or maybe Derek had convinced her to stay. It didn't matter. Simone screenshot the message and sent it to herself, then deleted the evidence from Derek's phone. Just more ammunition for her lawyer. Over the next 2 weeks, Simone continued her careful preparations. She transferred more of her personal items out of the house. She made copies of all their important documents, tax returns, bank statements, everything. She reviewed every piece of evidence she'd collected, making sure it was organized and ready for Patricia. She also made a decision about Amber's employer. She drafted an anonymous email with the subject line, Employee Conduct Concern, and attached selected screenshots of emails where Amber clearly acknowledged Derek's marriage and expressed excitement about the affair. She included timestamps from the nanny cam footage showing Amber entering Simone's home during work hours. She didn't send it yet. That would come later at the right time. Derek remained oblivious. He came home every day, kissed Simone hello, ate the dinner she made, watched TV, and went to bed. He kept up his routine with Amber, every Tuesday and Thursday like clockwork. He kept lying to Simone's face, telling her he loved her, making plans for their future. He was so confident he'd never get caught. That confidence was about to be shattered. Simone had one more meeting with Patricia scheduled for the following Monday. They would finalize everything and prepare to serve Derek with the divorce papers. It was almost time. On the Sunday before that final meeting, Simone stood in her kitchen making coffee and looked around at the house she'd bought with her own money. This was her home. Derek had never appreciated it. He'd never appreciated her. But that was okay. Because soon he'd be gone. And she'd have her sanctuary back. She'd have her peace back. She'd have herself back. She heard Derek coming down the stairs and pasted on a smile. Good morning. Want some coffee? Yeah, thanks, babe, he said, kissing her cheek. What do you want to do today? I was thinking we could just relax at home, Simone said. Maybe watch some movies. Order takeout. Sounds perfect. Derek settled on the couch with his coffee, already reaching for the TV remote. Simone looked at him, knowing these were some of the last normal moments they'd have together. By this time next week, everything would be different. He'd know that she knew. He'd know that he'd lost. And she couldn't wait. Monday morning came bright and clear. Simone woke up before Derek as she always did, and went through her morning routine. She showered, dressed in her favorite navy blue suit, and made herself breakfast. By the time Derek stumbled into the kitchen, she was ready for the day. You look nice, he said, pouring himself coffee. Big meeting today? Just the usual client stuff, she lied smoothly. What about you? Anything special at work? Nah, probably just a slow Monday. He scrolled through his phone while eating cereal. Probably texting Amber, Simone thought. She didn't care anymore. She kissed him goodbye at 8:30 and drove to Patricia's office. This time she brought 3 copies of everything. All the videos on USB drives, all the emails and texts printed and organized in binders, her financial documents, and her list of personal property. They spent 3 hours going through every detail. This is one of the most well-documented cases I've seen, Patricia said, impressed. You've done excellent work. He won't have a leg to stand on. When do we file? Simone asked. I'll have the papers drawn up by Wednesday. We can file them with the court on Thursday. The question is, how do you want him served? We can have a process server go to his workplace or to the house, or we can arrange for you to be present when he's served. Simone thought about it. I want to be there. I want to see his face when he realizes it's over. Then I suggest we do it at the house, somewhere private. That way there's no public scene. We can schedule it for a specific time, and you can have your locks changed immediately afterward. I'll give you the contact information for a locksmith who can be on standby. What about his stuff? His clothes and things? He'll have a reasonable time to remove his personal property, but since the house is yours, you're under no obligation to let him stay. We'll include in the papers that he must vacate the premises within 24 hours of being served. Can he fight that? He can try, but given the circumstances and the fact that you're the sole owner, a judge will likely side with you. Especially with evidence of adultery committed in your home. They worked out all the details. Service would happen on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Patricia would be present, along with the process server. Simone would have a locksmith ready to change all the locks as soon as Derek left. She'd also have a friend there for support, someone Patricia recommended from a local domestic transition support group. What should I do this week? Simone asked. Just act normal? Exactly. Keep doing what you've been doing. Don't give him any reason to suspect something's wrong. Don't remove any more items from the house because he might notice. Just live your life normally for 5 more days. Can you do that? Simone nodded. 5 days. She could make it 5 more days. She went to work after the meeting and tried to focus on her job. She had 2 property showings that afternoon and a contract negotiation for a major client. Real estate was her escape right now, the one place where she felt in control and competent. Her colleagues had noticed she seemed stressed lately, but she'd blamed it on work pressure. No one knew what was really going on in her personal life. That evening she came home to find Derek on the couch watching sports. Hey babe, he called out. I ordered pizza. It should be here soon. Thanks, she said, setting down her bag and joining him. They ate pizza and watched TV like a normal couple. Derek even laughed at something on the screen and reached over to squeeze her hand. She let him, feeling nothing. Later that night, after Derek fell asleep, Simone lay awake thinking about what her life would look like after Saturday. She'd have the house to herself. She'd have her freedom. She'd have a fresh start. It was scary and exciting all at once. She'd been with Derek for 7 years, married for 5. She'd gotten comfortable in their routine, even if it hadn't been perfect. Now she was about to blow up that entire life and rebuild from scratch. But she was ready. More than ready. She was eager. The next few days passed slowly. Tuesday and Thursday came, and as expected, Derek brought Amber over while Simone was at work. She watched the footage on her phone during her lunch break, feeling detached from it now. These videos used to make her cry. Now they just made her impatient. She wanted this to be over. On Friday night, Derek suggested they go out for drinks with some friends. Simone almost said no, but then she thought it might be good to have one last normal night before everything changed. They went to a bar downtown where 2 of Derek's co-workers and their girlfriends were meeting them. Simone nursed a single drink all night while Derek had several beers. He got louder and more animated as the night went on, telling stories and laughing. His coworker Brandon leaned over to Simone at one point and said, "You guys seem really happy. It's nice to see a solid couple." Simone forced a smile. "Thanks." If only he knew the truth. If only any of them knew that in less than 24 hours, this solid couple would be done. They got home around midnight. Derek immediately passed out on the bed, still in his clothes. Simone changed into pajamas, removed his shoes so he'd be more comfortable, and set a glass of water on his nightstand. Even now, even knowing what he'd done, she couldn't help but take care of him out of habit. But after tomorrow, that would be his problem, not hers. She woke up early on Saturday morning, her stomach twisted in knots. This was it. The day everything changed. Derek was still asleep, snoring softly. She got up quietly, showered, and dressed in jeans and a t-shirt. Something comfortable and practical. She made coffee and sat at the kitchen table, checking her phone. Patricia had texted, "We're on schedule for 10 a.m. See you soon." Simone replied, "Ready?" Derek woke up around 9 o'clock and came downstairs in his pajama pants, yawning. "Morning. You're up early." "Couldn't sleep," she said truthfully. "Want to do something today? Maybe go to that new brunch place." "Let's just hang out here for a bit," Simone said. "I'm not really hungry yet." "Okay." He made himself breakfast and turned on the TV. Saturday morning cartoons, which he always watched like a big kid. Simone sat on the couch next to him watching the clock. 9:15, 9:30, 9:45. At 9:55 she heard a car pull into the driveway. Then another. Her heart started pounding. "Are you expecting someone?" Derek asked, looking confused. "Yes," Simone said quietly. "I am." The doorbell rang. Derek got up to answer it and Simone followed. When he opened the door, 3 people stood on the porch. Patricia in a gray suit, a man in a business casual outfit holding a manila envelope, and a woman with kind eyes and a gentle smile. "Derek Turner?" the man asked. "Yeah, that's me," Derek said slowly. "You've been served." The man handed him the envelope. "Have a good day." Derek stood frozen, staring at the envelope. Then he looked at Patricia, then at Simone. What is this?" "Those are divorce papers," Simone said calmly. "You should read them." "Divorce?" "Simone, what are you talking about?" His voice was rising. "Is this a joke?" "It's not a joke. I know about Amber. I know about everything. I've known for a month." Derek's face went white. "Amber? How did you?" "The nanny cam," Simone said. "I saw everything. Every time you brought her here. Every lie you told me. Everything." "Simone, please let me explain." "I don't want to hear it." She kept her voice steady even though her hands were shaking. "You have 24 hours to get your things and leave. This house is mine. I'm changing the locks today. If you try to come back after that, I'll call the police. You can't just kick me out. I live here." Patricia stepped forward. "Actually, she can. The house is in her name only. You have no legal claim to it. And if you'd like to discuss the matter further, you can contact my office. My card is in the envelope." Derek looked at the envelope in his hands like it was a bomb. Then he looked at Simone with tears in his eyes. "Babe, please. We can work through this. I made a mistake. I'll end things with her. I'll do whatever you want. Please don't do this." Simone felt a twist in her chest, but she pushed it away. "You didn't make a mistake, Derek. You made a choice. You made that choice every single Tuesday and Thursday for months. You chose to betray me, to lie to me, to bring another woman into my home. And now I'm making a choice. I'm choosing to be done with you." "Simone." "Read the papers," she interrupted. "Get a lawyer if you want. But you need to leave by tomorrow at 10 a.m. That's non-negotiable." Derek's expression changed from pleading to angry. Fine. If that's how you want it." He threw the envelope on the floor and stormed upstairs. The woman with the kind eyes stepped forward. "Hi, Simone. I'm Karen. I'm here to support you through this transition. Why don't we sit down while he packs?" They went to the kitchen while Patricia made some phone calls. Simone could hear Derek slamming drawers and closets upstairs. Karen made her some tea. "You're doing great," she said softly. "I know this is hard." "I thought I'd feel relief," Simone admitted. "But I just feel numb." "That's normal. You're in shock. The relief will come later." Derek came downstairs 45 minutes later with 2 suitcases and a box of his things. He changed into jeans and a hoodie. His eyes were red. "I'll be back tomorrow to get the rest," he said coldly. "I'll be here," Simone replied. He walked out without another word. They heard his car start and drive away. Patricia hung up her phone. Locksmith will be here in 20 minutes. You did well, Simone. I know that wasn't easy. It wasn't, but it was done. And as Simone watched the locksmith change every lock on her doors an hour later, she felt the first tiny flutter of relief. Her home was hers again. Derek couldn't just walk in anymore. It was over. The next morning, Sunday, Simone woke up alone in her bed for the first time in years. The house felt different. Quieter. Emptier. But not in a bad way. She got up, made coffee, and sat on her back patio watching the sunrise. This was her life now. Just hers. She could do whatever she wanted with it. Derek came back at 10 a.m. as promised, with his brother to help him move. Simone let them in and stayed in the kitchen while they hauled boxes and furniture out. Derek took his clothes, his gaming system, his sports memorabilia, and a few pieces of furniture that had been his before the marriage. He didn't try to take anything else. Simone had already removed anything sentimental or valuable, so she didn't care what he took. When they finished, Derek came to the kitchen doorway. He looked terrible, like he hadn't slept. "Can we talk?" he asked quietly. "No," Simone said. "Anything you need to say can go through my lawyer. I just want you to know I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt you. But you did hurt me. You made that choice. It wasn't supposed to mean anything. It was just, I don't know. I got stupid." "You got selfish," Simone corrected. "And now you're dealing with the consequences. Goodbye, Derek." He stood there for a moment longer, then turned and left. Simone heard the front door close and his truck pull away. She walked through the house, checking that he hadn't taken anything he wasn't supposed to. Everything looked fine. He was gone. Really, truly gone. She spent the rest of Sunday cleaning. She washed all the bedding, scrubbed every surface, opened all the windows to air the house out. She was erasing Derek from her space, making it hers again. It felt good. It felt therapeutic. On Monday she went back to work with a renewed focus. She had a major commercial property deal that she'd been working on for months, and it was finally ready to close. The commission from this deal would be substantial, nearly $40,000. She'd been coordinating it carefully, waiting for the perfect time to close it. And that time was now, right after filing for divorce, so Derek couldn't claim any of the money. She met with the buyers, a corporate firm looking to purchase a downtown office building for renovation. The negotiations went smoothly. Papers were signed. The deal closed by Wednesday afternoon. $43,000 would be deposited into her account within a week. Money that was entirely hers. Money Derek would never touch. Her boss called her into his office after the deal closed. "Simone, I wanted to talk to you about your performance this year." She sat down, wondering if this was about her taking time for the divorce. But instead he smiled. "You've been our top agent for 3 years running. Your numbers are exceptional. And I'd like to offer you a promotion to senior agent and team lead. It comes with a salary increase, better commission structure, and you'd be managing a small team." Simone felt tears prick her eyes. "Really? Really? You've earned it. Are you interested?" "Absolutely. Yes. Thank you." They shook hands and discussed the details. Her new salary would be $115,000 a year, plus improved commissions. She'd start in the new role at the beginning of next month. As she left his office, Simone felt like she was walking on air. Everything was falling into place. Her life was improving in every way, and Derek was nowhere in sight. That evening, she celebrated by ordering her favorite Thai food and watching movies on her couch. Her couch in her house, with her future looking brighter than it had in years. She posted a subtle update on social media. New beginnings, new opportunities. Grateful for growth. She didn't mention the divorce or the promotion specifically, but several friends and colleagues commented with supportive messages. The next week brought more changes. Her lawyer called to say Derek had hired an attorney and was trying to fight the divorce terms. He wanted half of the savings account, claiming it was marital property regardless of where it came from. He wanted spousal support. He wanted to drag this out. "Let him try," Patricia said. "We have documentation showing that 90% of the savings came from your inheritance. We have proof of his adultery. We have evidence that you've been the primary breadwinner. No judge is going to give him what he wants." Sure enough, after Patricia sent Derek's lawyer all the evidence, the tone changed quickly. Derek's attorney called Patricia directly. "My client is willing to settle without going to trial. He'll accept $10,000 from the joint savings, his 401k, his vehicle, and his personal property. He'll waive any claim to the house or spousal support." Patricia relayed this to Simone. "It's a good offer. We could fight for him to get even less, but it would mean going to court and dragging this out for months. This way you can be done with him quickly. Simone thought about it. $10,000 seemed like a lot to give him, but on the other hand she'd have $30,000 left, plus her commission money, plus her new higher salary. And she'd be free of Derek forever. Let's take it, she decided. I want this over. The settlement was drawn up and signed within a week. The divorce would be final in 60 days as soon as the waiting period ended. Simone felt like a weight had been lifted off her shoulders. She was almost free. During this time she hadn't forgotten about Amber. She'd been waiting for the right moment to send that email to Amber's employer. One evening she pulled up the draft she'd prepared weeks ago, reviewed it one more time and hit send. The email was anonymous, sent from a newly created account with no identifying information. It simply stated that an employee named Amber Collins had been engaged in an ongoing affair with a married man, had knowingly entered his home while his wife was at work, and had shown poor judgment and character. It included screenshots of emails where Amber acknowledged Derek's marriage and expressed no remorse, as well as timestamps showing her arriving at Simone's address during working hours, suggesting she'd been leaving work early for these meetings. Simone didn't know if anything would come of it. But 3 days later she got her answer. She ran into Brandon, Derek's former co-worker, at a coffee shop near her office. He recognized her and came over to say hello. Hey Simone. I heard about you and Derek. I'm really sorry. Thanks, she said. It's for the best. Yeah, I guess so. Especially after everything with that Amber woman. Simone's ears perked up. What about her? Oh, you didn't hear? She got fired from her job. Something about an ethics violation. Derek's been complaining about it, saying it's not fair, but honestly if she was messing around with a married guy, what did she expect? Brandon shrugged. Anyway, I hope you're doing okay. You deserve better than how Derek treated you. I am doing okay, Simone said honestly. Better than okay actually. Thanks for asking. After Brandon left, Simone sat in the coffee shop with a small smile. So Amber had lost her job. Simone didn't feel guilty about it. Amber had made her own choices just like Derek had. And now they were both facing consequences. As Simone drove home that evening she thought about how much her life had changed in just 2 months. 2 months ago she'd been a wife who thought she had a happy marriage. Now she was a soon-to-be divorced woman with a promotion, a big commission, and a fresh start. The pain of Derek's betrayal was still there, but it was fading. She was moving forward. She was rebuilding. And she was doing it on her own terms. That weekend she did something she'd wanted to do for years but Derek had always opposed. She adopted a dog from the local shelter, a 3-year-old golden retriever mix named Sunny. Derek had always said he didn't want pets, that they were too much work. But now Simone could do whatever she wanted. Sunny curled up on the couch next to her that first night, and Simone felt more contentment than she'd felt in months. This was her life now. Her house, her dog, her job, her future. And it was going to be wonderful. November arrived with crisp air and colorful leaves. Simone had been divorced for almost a month now. The final papers had come through, and she was officially single again. She'd kept her married name for professional reasons, but she was considering changing it back to her maiden name eventually. For now she was just enjoying her freedom. Work had been incredible. Her new role as team lead was challenging but rewarding. She was mentoring 3 junior agents and loving it. Her commission from the big deal had cleared, and she'd used some of it to update her house. New furniture for the living room. A fresh coat of paint in the bedroom. A completely redesigned master bathroom. She was making the space truly hers, erasing every trace of Derek. She'd also started taking care of herself again. She'd joined a gym and started working out 3 times a week. She'd gotten her hair done, tried new makeup, bought new clothes. She felt good about herself for the first time in a long time. Not because she was trying to impress anyone, but because she wanted to. Because she deserved to feel beautiful and strong and confident. Through mutual friends, she'd heard updates about Derek. He'd moved into a small apartment across town. He was struggling financially because his rent was higher than what he'd contributed when living in Simone's house. He'd been asking friends for loans. He was apparently miserable. Simone felt no sympathy. He'd made his choices. Now he was living with them. One afternoon, she was at a networking event for local real estate professionals when she ran into someone unexpected. Amber's former boss from Family First Insurance. Simone recognized him from the company website she'd looked up when researching Amber. His name was Richard, and he was in his 60s with gray hair and a friendly demeanor. Simone Turner, right? He said, shaking her hand. I've heard great things about your work. You closed that big downtown deal last month? I did, she confirmed. Thank you. They chatted about business for a few minutes, then Richard said something that caught her attention. You know, we had an unfortunate situation at my company recently. An employee who'd been with us for 3 years was terminated for ethics violations. It was disappointing. We really try to maintain high standards, you know? Simone nodded, keeping her expression neutral. That must have been difficult. It was. Especially because the evidence was so clear. Someone sent us documentation showing she'd been engaging in inappropriate behavior that reflected poorly on the company. We had no choice but to let her go. He shook his head. The thing is, she's trying to sue us for wrongful termination now. Says she was fired without cause. But we have everything documented. We'll win, but it's still a hassle. I'm sure you'll handle it appropriately, Simone said diplomatically. We will. Anyway, I didn't mean to get into all that. I just wanted to introduce myself. Maybe we can work together on some commercial insurance needs for your clients. They exchanged business cards and Richard moved on to talk to other people. Simone felt a strange mix of emotions. She'd caused Amber to lose her job, and now Amber was trying to fight back through legal action. Simone didn't regret sending that email, but she also recognized that her actions had consequences beyond just satisfying her need for revenge. But then again, Amber had made her choices. She'd known Derek was married. She'd participated in the affair willingly. She'd shown no remorse. The email Simone sent had simply brought Amber's actions to light. What her employer did with that information was their decision, not Simone's. That evening, Simone was at home cooking dinner when her phone rang. It was a number she didn't recognize, but she answered anyway. Hello? Simone? It's Derek's mom, Patricia. Simone's stomach dropped. She hadn't spoken to Derek's mother since before the divorce. Hi, Patricia. How are you? I'm fine, honey. I'm calling because I wanted to talk to you about Derek. He's been having a really hard time since the divorce. He's lost weight, he seems depressed, and I'm worried about him. I'm sorry to hear that, Simone said carefully. I know what happened between you two. He told me about the affair. And I want you to know that I think what he did was wrong. Terribly wrong. But he's my son, and I'm asking if you'd consider giving him another chance. He's truly sorry. He wants to make things right. Simone took a deep breath. Patricia, I appreciate you calling. And I understand that you love your son. But I'm not taking him back. What he did wasn't a one-time mistake. It was months of calculated betrayal. He made those choices and now he has to live with the consequences. I've moved on, and you should encourage him to do the same. There was silence on the other end. Then Patricia said quietly, I understand. I had to try. I hope you're doing well, Simone. You're a good woman. You deserve better than what my son gave you. Thank you. Take care of yourself, Patricia. After hanging up, Simone felt a pang of sadness. She'd always liked Derek's mother. But she couldn't let anyone, not even someone she cared about, make her doubt her decision. Derek had shown his true character. She'd be foolish to give him another chance. The following week, Simone was leaving work when she saw Derek sitting in his truck in the parking lot. Her heart jumped. What was he doing here? She walked to her car quickly, but he got out and approached her. Simone, wait. Please. I just want to talk. You shouldn't be here, Derek. This is my workplace. I know I'm sorry, but you won't answer my calls or texts. I didn't know how else to reach you. We have nothing to talk about. The divorce is final. We're done. But we don't have to be. I made a huge mistake. I know that now. I've been going to therapy. I'm working on myself. I want to prove to you that I can be better. Simone unlocked her car. Good. You should be working on yourself. But not for me. For you. Whatever you do with your life from here on out is not my concern anymore. Don't say that. We had 7 good years together. That has to mean something. It did mean something. Until you threw it away. Goodbye, Derek. She got in her car and drove away, watching him in her rearview mirror standing in the parking lot looking lost. She called Patricia Patterson as soon as she got home. Derek showed up at my work today. Did he threaten you or make you feel unsafe? No, nothing like that. He just wanted to talk. But I don't want him showing up places trying to contact me. I'll send a formal letter to his attorney stating that any further contact attempts could be considered harassment. If he shows up again, call the police and document it. Simone agreed. She also called her office building security and gave them Derek's description, asking them to keep an eye out and not allow him access to her floor. She wasn't taking any chances. A few days later, she heard through a mutual friend that Derek had been written up at work for poor performance. Apparently he'd been distracted, missing sales targets and showing up late. He was on thin ice with his boss. Simone felt a twinge of something, not quite guilt, but close. Had she destroyed his life? Was this all her fault? No. She shut down that thought immediately. She hadn't destroyed anything. Derek had done that himself. She'd simply refused to go down with him. There was a difference. As November continued, Simone felt herself healing more each day. The pain of the betrayal was still there, but it was becoming background noise instead of all-consuming agony. She was laughing more, sleeping better, enjoying her life. She'd started going out with friends again, something she'd stopped doing during her marriage because Derek never wanted to go anywhere. She reconnected with old college friends she'd lost touch with. She joined a book club at the local library. She started taking Sunny to the dog park every weekend. She was building a new life, a better life, and it felt amazing. One evening, she was at the dog park when Sunny ran off to play with another dog. The owner came over to watch them play, and Simone noticed it was a man about her age, tall and fit with an easy smile. "Your dog is beautiful," he said. "Thank you. So is yours." His dog was a husky with bright blue eyes. "I'm Isaiah," he extended his hand. "Simone," she shook it, feeling a small flutter in her stomach. He was handsome. Really handsome. They chatted for a while about their dogs, their jobs, their favorite spots in the city. Isaiah was an architect, and when Simone mentioned she was in commercial real estate, they discovered they'd actually worked on the same project a few years ago, though they'd never met in person. "Small world," Isaiah said with a grin. "Very small." They exchanged numbers before leaving, agreeing to meet up at the dog park again. Simone drove home with a smile on her face. She wasn't ready to date yet, but it was nice to know there were good men out there. Men who didn't lie and cheat. Men who might actually be worth her time someday. That night, she looked at herself in the mirror and liked what she saw. A strong, independent, successful woman who'd survived betrayal and come out stronger. A woman who didn't need a man to complete her, but might one day choose to let someone into her life again. A woman who was finally truly happy. Derek had tried to break her, but she'd rebuilt herself into something even better. And that was the sweetest revenge of all. December brought cold weather and holiday decorations throughout the city. Simone was planning to spend Christmas with her mother this year, the first holiday in years where she wouldn't have to split time between families or compromise on plans. She was looking forward to it. She'd been texting with Isaiah regularly since they'd met at the dog park. They'd met up a few more times, always casual, always friendly. He knew she was recently divorced and wasn't pushing for anything more. It was comfortable and easy, which was exactly what Simone needed right now. Work had been busy with end-of-year deals and planning for the next quarter. Simone's team was performing well, and her boss had already hinted at a possible bonus. Everything in her life was finally stable and positive. She'd gone weeks without thinking about Derek or the affair. She was truly moving forward. Then, on a Friday afternoon in mid-December, everything came crashing back. Simone was at her office when her assistant buzzed her. "There's a woman here to see you. She says it's urgent. Her name is Amber Collins." Simone's blood went cold. Amber was here? Again? What could she possibly want now? "Tell her I'm busy and can't see her." "I did. She says she'll wait as long as it takes. She seems upset." Simone sighed. She could call security and have Amber removed. But part of her was curious. And part of her wanted to face this woman one more time and put an end to whatever drama she was trying to create. "Fine. Send her in." Amber walked into Simone's office looking very different from the last time she'd been there. Her hair was shorter, messier. She'd lost weight and had dark circles under her eyes. She was wearing jeans and an old sweater, not the polished outfit Simone had seen in the videos. She looked rough. "What do you want, Amber?" Simone asked coldly. "I need to talk to you. It's important." "We have nothing to talk about. Please." Amber sat down without being invited. "I know you hate me. I know I deserve it. But I need you to know the truth about Derek. I know everything I need to know about Derek. We're divorced. It's over. Whatever he's doing now is none of my business. But that's the thing. He's not okay. He's falling apart, Simone. He's drinking heavily. He lost his job last week. He's been calling me constantly, begging me to take him back, but I won't. I can't. He's obsessed. And why are you telling me this? What do you expect me to do about it?" Amber leaned forward. "I think he needs help. Real help. Professional help. And you're the only person who might be able to reach him." Simone laughed bitterly. "You want me to help him? After what he did to me? After what you both did? I know it's a lot to ask. It's not a lot to ask. It's completely ridiculous. Derek is not my responsibility anymore. If he needs help, he can get it himself. Or you can help him, since you were so eager to be with him while we were married. I ended things with him months ago. Right after you confronted me. I realized what we did was wrong. I've tried to move on, but he won't let me. He shows up at my apartment. He sends me hundreds of texts. He's scaring me, Simone. Then call the police and file a restraining order. Don't come to me. I'm not his keeper. Amber's eyes filled with tears. I lost my job because of you. You sent that email to my boss. You ruined my career. No, Simone said firmly. You ruined your career by making terrible choices. I just made sure those choices had consequences. You knew Derek was married. You participated in the affair willingly. You showed no remorse. What did you think would happen? I thought we could all move past it. I thought after the divorce, everyone would just move on. But you had to be vindictive. You had to destroy my life too. Simone stood up. Get out of my office. Get out right now before I call security. Simone, please. I said get out. Simone's voice was loud enough that her assistant peeked in to make sure everything was okay. I don't owe you anything. Not my help, not my sympathy, not my time. You made your choices. Derek made his. Now you both get to live with them. And I get to live my life without either of you in it. Amber stood up slowly, wiping her eyes. I hope you're happy with what you've done. Actually, I am. Now leave. Amber walked out, and Simone sat down heavily in her chair, her heart pounding. She hadn't expected that confrontation, hadn't been prepared for Amber to come back. And the news about Derek was disturbing, but not surprising. He'd always had an addictive personality, and when things got tough, he'd always turn to drinking or other escapes instead of dealing with his problems. But that wasn't Simone's problem anymore. She'd meant what she said to Amber. Derek was not her responsibility. If he was struggling, he needed to get help on his own. She'd already given him 7 years of her life. She wasn't giving him one more minute. Still, she felt unsettled for the rest of the day. When she got home that evening, she called Patricia Patterson and told her about Amber's visit. Do you think Derek could be dangerous? Patricia asked. I don't know. Maybe. Amber said he's been harassing her. And he showed up at my work that one time. I don't think he'd physically hurt anyone, but I can't be sure. I'm going to recommend you take some precautions. Make sure your doors and windows are always locked. Consider upgrading your home security system. Keep your phone charged and with you at all times. And if Derek contacts you or shows up again, document everything and call the police immediately. Don't engage with him at all. Simone agreed. She spent that evening researching home security systems and ordered one that would be installed next week. She also made sure all her windows had working locks and that Sonny's bark was loud enough to alert her if anyone approached the house. She hated feeling this way, worried, looking over her shoulder. But she also wasn't naive. Derek had shown poor judgment before. Who knew what he was capable of now? The next morning, Saturday, Simone was at the grocery store when she ran into Derek's brother Tyler. She'd always liked Tyler. He was a good guy, nothing like Derek. He looked uncomfortable when he saw her but came over anyway. Hey Simone. How are you? I'm good, Tyler. How about you? Doing okay. Look, I wanted to apologize for my brother. What he did to you was wrong. Our whole family knows that. I appreciate that. Thank you. Tyler hesitated, then said quietly, he's not doing well. I know it's not your problem anymore, but I thought you should know. He lost his job. He's drinking a lot. My mom is worried sick about him. I heard. Amber came to see me yesterday and told me some of it. Amber? Tyler looked surprised. Why would she come to you? She wanted me to help Derek. I refused. Whatever he's going through, he needs to handle it himself or get professional help. I'm not getting involved. I understand. I wouldn't either if I were you. But I just wanted to let you know in case. I don't know. In case he tries to contact you or something. He's not thinking clearly right now. If he contacts me, I'll call the police. I'm not playing games, Tyler. I've moved on. He needs to do the same. I know. I'll try to talk to him. Get him into some kind of therapy or rehab program. Our mom is going to try too. They said goodbye, and Simone finished her shopping feeling even more unsettled. It seemed like everyone wanted her to care about Derek's well-being. His mother. Amber. His brother. But why should she? He hadn't cared about her well-being when he was cheating on her. He hadn't cared about their marriage or their future. He'd only cared about himself. Now he was reaping what he'd sowed. And while Simone didn't wish him harm, She also didn't feel responsible for saving him from himself. He was an adult. He could figure it out. That night, she was home with Sonny when her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. Hello? Simone. Derek's voice slurred and thick. He was drunk. I need to talk to you. Derek, you're not supposed to contact me. I'm hanging up now. Wait. Please. Just listen. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I ruined everything. I had the best woman in the world and I threw it all away for nothing. Ember meant nothing. It was all meaningless. You were everything. You should have thought about that before you cheated on me for months. I know I messed up. But I can fix it. We can fix it. Please, Simone. Give me another chance. I'll do anything. I'll go to therapy. I'll never look at another woman. I'll spend the rest of my life proving I can be the husband you deserve. Derek, stop. We're divorced. It's over. There's no fixing this. You need to accept that and move on. I can't move on. I love you. I've always loved you. If you loved me, you wouldn't have betrayed me. If you loved me, you would have respected our marriage. But you didn't. And now it's too late. Don't say that. It's never too late. We can start over. We can. Goodbye, Derek. Don't call me again. She hung up and immediately blocked his number. Her hands were shaking. She felt angry and sad and frustrated all at once. Sonny came over and put his head on her lap, sensing her distress. She petted him, taking comfort in his presence. This was her life now. Her and Sonny in her house. Safe. Peaceful. Free from Derek's chaos. She would not let him pull her back in. She would not let his problems become her problems. She was done. Completely, totally done. And nothing he said or did would change that. The week before Christmas, Simone's new security system was installed. It included cameras at all entrances, motion sensors, and a direct line to the police if the alarm was triggered. She felt safer with it in place, even though she still felt ridiculous for needing it. Derek had tried calling from several different numbers, but she'd blocked them all. He'd sent emails to her personal account, but she'd set up a filter that sent anything from him straight to trash without her seeing it. She'd cut off every avenue of contact. As far as she was concerned, he no longer existed. Work was winding down for the year. Simone had closed 3 more deals in December, bringing her total commission for the year to well over $100,000. Her base salary had increased with her promotion. She'd rebuilt her savings account to higher than it had been before the divorce. Financially, she was thriving. Professionally, she was at the top of her game. Personally, she was happy. She'd been seeing Isaiah more regularly. Not officially dating, but definitely spending time together that felt like more than friendship. They'd gone to dinner twice, seen a movie, and spent several evenings at each other's homes just talking and getting to know each other. He was kind, funny, intelligent, and respectful. Everything Derek hadn't been. One evening, Isaiah asked her, "Are you okay? You seem distracted tonight." They were at his place, sitting on the couch with their dogs sprawled on the floor. Simone sighed. "I'm sorry. Just, my ex has been trying to contact me. It's bringing up a lot of stuff I thought I was past. Want to talk about it?" So she told him. Not everything but the basics. The affair. The divorce. Derek's current struggles and his attempts to reach out. Isaiah listened without interrupting. When she finished, he said, "That sounds really hard. But you know you're doing the right thing by maintaining boundaries, right? You don't owe him anything." "I know. Logically, I know that. But I keep getting calls and visits from people asking me to help him. His mom, his brother, even the woman he cheated with. They all think I should care that he's falling apart. But you don't have to care. You're allowed to protect yourself and move forward with your life. He made his choices. You made yours. End of story." Simone felt tears prick her eyes. "Thank you for saying that. I needed to hear it." Isaiah reached over and took her hand. "You're one of the strongest people I've ever met. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for choosing yourself." She squeezed his hand back, grateful for his support. This was what a healthy relationship looked like. Mutual respect. Open communication. Support without judgment. She'd forgotten what that felt like. On December 23rd, Simone was packing for her trip to visit her mother when her phone rang. "Tyler again." She answered, wondering what now. "Simone, I'm so sorry to bother you. But I thought you should know. Derek was arrested last night." Her stomach dropped. "Arrested? For what?" "He got drunk and went to Amber's apartment. Started banging on her door, yelling. She called the police. They arrested him for public intoxication and disturbing the peace. He's out on bail now, but he has a court date in January. Oh my God. I know. It's bad. Our mom is beside herself. I'm trying to get him into a rehab program, but he has to want help. And right now, I don't think he does. I'm sorry, Tyler. I really am. But I don't know what you expect me to do. Nothing. I'm not asking you to do anything. I just wanted you to know in case. I don't know. In case he tries to come to your place next. He's not thinking rationally. He's obsessed with fixing things with both of you. Please just be careful. I will. Thank you for the warning. After hanging up, Simone sat on her bed feeling sick. Derek had been arrested. He was harassing Amber. He was spiraling out of control. And while part of her felt bad for him, a larger part of her felt vindicated. This was who he really was. Not the charming man she'd married, but someone weak and self-destructive who blamed everyone else for his problems. She called Patricia Patterson and told her what happened. I want a restraining order. Today if possible. I'll file the paperwork immediately. Given his arrest and the pattern of behavior, we should be able to get a temporary order within 48 hours. You might need to testify at a hearing for a permanent order, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Do it. I don't care what it takes. I want legal protection from him. Consider it done. Simone finished packing for her trip, double-checked all her locks and security settings, and arranged for a neighbor to check on her house while she was gone. She left the next morning for her mother's house, feeling relieved to get away from everything. Christmas with her mother was peaceful. They cooked together, watched old movies, and talked about everything except Derek. Her mother had met Isaiah briefly when he'd stopped by to drop off a Christmas gift for Simone, a beautiful leather-bound journal and a gift certificate to her favorite bookstore. Her mother approved. He seems like a good man, she said after Isaiah left. Takes his time. Respects you. That's what you need. It's not serious, Mom. We're just friends. For now. But I see how you smile when you talk about him. That's nice. You deserve to be happy, baby. Simone hugged her mother, grateful for her support. She'd raised Simone to be strong and independent, and those lessons had saved her through this whole ordeal. She returned home on December 27th to find an envelope taped to her front door. Her heart raced as she opened it. It was the temporary restraining order against Derek. He was legally required to stay at least 500 feet away from her, her home, and her workplace. If he violated it, he'd be arrested. Good. Simone took the order inside and made copies, keeping one at home, one at work, and one in her car. She hoped she'd never need to use them, but she was prepared. The last few days of December passed quietly. Simone went back to work, caught up on emails, and prepared for the new year. She was planning to attend a New Year's Eve party with some friends, and Isaiah had asked if she wanted to go together. She'd said yes. On New Year's Eve afternoon, she was getting ready for the party when her doorbell rang. She checked the security camera feed on her phone. It was Derek's mother, Patricia, standing on her porch holding a casserole dish. Simone opened the door but didn't invite her in. Hi, Patricia. Simone, honey. I know you probably don't want to see me, but I wanted to bring you this. She held out the casserole. It's your favorite, the chicken and rice dish I used to make for family dinners? I thought maybe. I can't accept that, Patricia. I'm sorry. Please. Just take it. I'm not asking you to forgive Derek or take him back. I'm just asking you to remember that there were good times too. That our family loved you. That I still love you. Simone felt her throat tighten. I love you too, Patricia. You were always kind to me. But Derek and I are over. There's a restraining order now. I can't have any contact with him or anyone trying to contact me on his behalf. I'm sorry. Patricia's face crumpled. A restraining order? Oh, Simone. What has he done? He got arrested for harassing Amber. He's been calling me constantly. I had to protect myself. I understand. I do. I'm so sorry my son put you through all of this. You didn't deserve any of it. She set the casserole down on the porch. I'll leave this here. You can take it or not. But I want you to know that I'll always think of you as my daughter. And I hope someday you can forgive us. There's nothing for you to apologize for. You didn't do anything wrong. Take care of yourself, Patricia. Simone gently closed the door, watching through the camera as Derek's mother walked back to her car with her shoulders slumped. It hurt. Simone had genuinely loved Patricia. But she couldn't maintain a relationship with Derek's family. It would be too complicated, too painful. This was a clean break. It had to be. She left the casserole on the porch and went back to getting ready for the party. Tonight was about new beginnings. About celebrating how far she'd come. About looking forward, not back. She met Isaiah at the party, and they spent the evening dancing, laughing, and counting down to midnight with friends. When the clock struck 12, Isaiah leaned down and kissed her gently. "Happy New Year, Simone." "Happy New Year," she whispered back, meaning it with her whole heart. This year would be better. This year would be hers. And nothing and no one from her past would hold her back. January came in cold and bright. Simone started the new year with renewed energy and purpose. She'd set goals for herself. Close 15 major deals this year, grow her team, maybe take that trip to Italy she'd always wanted, and continue building her life on her own terms. The restraining order against Derek remained in place. He tried to contest it at the hearing, but with the evidence of his arrest, his multiple contact attempts, and his harassment of Amber, the judge had granted Simone a permanent order. Derek was required to stay away from her for the next 3 years. If he violated it, he'd face criminal charges. Simone hadn't heard from him since. She'd heard through Tyler that Derek had finally entered a rehab program for alcohol abuse. His mother was paying for it. Simone hoped it helped him, not for her sake, but for his own. Everyone deserved a chance to get better, even Derek. She just didn't need to be part of his recovery. Work started strong. Simone closed a major deal in the first week of January, earning a $20,000 commission. Her team was performing well, and her boss had mentioned the possibility of expanding her role even further by mid-year. Everything was falling into place professionally. Personally, things were good too. She and Isaiah had officially started dating. Nothing rushed or intense, just steady and comfortable. He respected her need for space and independence. He never pushed for more than she was ready to give. And he made her laugh, which was something she'd forgotten how to do during the last year of her marriage to Derek. They went on real dates now. Dinner at nice restaurants. Hiking on weekends with their dogs. Art gallery openings. Jazz concerts. Isaiah introduced her to his friends and she introduced him to hers. Everyone liked him. More importantly, he fit naturally into her life without trying to change anything about it. One Saturday in late January, they were at her house cooking dinner together. Isaiah was chopping vegetables while Simone made pasta sauce. Sonny and Isaiah's husky, Coda, were playing in the backyard. It felt domestic and comfortable in the best way. "Can I ask you something?" Isaiah said. "Sure. How do you feel about your ex now? Like when you think about him?" Simone considered the question. "I don't think about him much anymore, honestly. When I do, I just feel nothing. No anger, no hurt, just indifference. He's like a stranger to me now. That's healthy, I think. You've really moved on." "I have. It took work, but I got there. And I'm better for it. I learned a lot about myself through that whole experience. About what I deserve, what I won't tolerate, and who I want to be." Isaiah set down the knife and turned to her. "For what it's worth, I think you're incredible. The way you handled everything with grace and strength? That's rare. A lot of people would have fallen apart or gotten bitter. But you just got stronger." Simone felt warmth spread through her chest. "Thank you. That means a lot." He pulled her into a hug and she relaxed into it. This was what love should feel like. Safe, supportive, honest. Not the chaos and uncertainty she'd had with Derek. In February, Simone made some bigger changes to her house. She hired a contractor to renovate the master bedroom completely. New flooring, new paint, new furniture, new everything. She was erasing the last physical memories of her marriage. When the renovation was done, the room looked like it belonged in a magazine. Clean lines, calming colors, and beautiful light fixtures. It was her sanctuary and she loved it. She also started a new hobby, pottery classes at a local studio. She'd always wanted to try it, but Derek had mocked the idea, saying it was a waste of time. Now she went every Wednesday evening and loved getting her hands dirty creating something from clay. She wasn't very good at it yet, but that wasn't the point. The point was that she was doing something for herself, something that brought her joy. Her book club became a regular part of her routine too. The women in the group were smart, funny, and supportive. They'd all been through various life challenges, and they understood what it meant to rebuild yourself. Simone found community there, something she'd been missing. One evening in March, she was at book club when the discussion turned to forgiveness. One of the women asked, "Do you think we're obligated to forgive people who hurt us? Like for our own healing?" The group had various opinions. Some believed forgiveness was essential. Others didn't. When they turned to Simone, she thought carefully before answering. "I think forgiveness is personal," she said. "Nobody gets to tell you that you have to forgive someone. If you want it, great. If you don't, that's okay too. I don't think I've forgiven my ex for what he did. But I've let go of the anger and the hurt. I've moved on. Maybe that's its own kind of forgiveness or maybe it's not. Either way, I'm at peace with it. The women nodded, appreciating her honesty. After the meeting, several of them came up to thank her for sharing her perspective. One woman, named Brielle, pulled her aside. I went through a divorce 5 years ago, Brielle said. And I struggled with whether I needed to forgive my ex. Everyone kept telling me I had to, for my own sake. But I never did. I just moved on. Hearing you say that makes me feel less guilty about it. You shouldn't feel guilty, Simone told her. You get to decide what healing looks like for you. Nobody else. They hugged, and Simone felt grateful for these connections. This was what female friendship should be: supportive, honest, and judgment-free. In April, Simone got a call from Patricia Patterson with surprising news. Amber Collins is trying to sue you for defamation and intentional interference with her employment. Simone felt her blood pressure spike. Are you serious? On what grounds? She's claiming that the email you sent to her employer was false and malicious, and that it caused her to lose her job unfairly. She's seeking damages for lost wages and emotional distress. But everything in that email was true. I had proof. I know. And that's our defense. Truth is an absolute defense against defamation. We'll need to produce your evidence, but given that you have videos, emails, and text messages proving everything you said, this lawsuit is going nowhere. She's grasping at straws, probably because she's desperate for money after losing her job. How long will this take? Probably a few months. We'll file a motion to dismiss based on the truth of your statements. If that doesn't work, we'll go to discovery and bury her in evidence. My guess is that once her attorney sees what we have, they'll advise her to drop the suit. I can't believe this. I finally moved on and now this. I know it's frustrating. But try not to let it consume you. This is just legal noise. It won't affect your life in any meaningful way. Simone hung up feeling angry. How dare Amber try to blame her for consequences of Amber's own actions? But Patricia was right. This was just noise. Simone had proof of everything. The lawsuit would fail. She just had to be patient. She told Isaiah about it that evening, and he was appropriately outraged on her behalf. She has some nerve. After everything she did, now she's trying to sue you? Apparently. But my lawyer says it won't go anywhere. Good. You don't deserve this stress. Simone leaned against him on the couch. I'm just tired of drama. I want to live my life in peace. You will. This is temporary. Once it's resolved, you'll have complete closure. And then you can fully focus on the future. He was right. This was the last piece of the puzzle. Once this lawsuit was dealt with, she'd be completely free of her past. No Derek, no Amber, no legal entanglements. Just her life moving forward. By May, Simone's lawyer had filed the motion to dismiss. Amber's attorney had tried to fight it, but the evidence was overwhelming. The judge dismissed the case with prejudice, meaning Amber couldn't refile it. It was over. Amber had lost just like Derek had lost. When Simone got the news, she felt a huge weight lift off her shoulders. She was free. Completely, totally free. No more legal battles. No more stress. No more looking over her shoulder. She could finally fully move on. That weekend, she and Isaiah took a spontaneous trip to the beach. They spent 3 days walking on the sand, eating fresh seafood, and just being together. It was perfect. Simple and easy, and exactly what Simone needed. On their last night there, they were watching the sunset from their hotel balcony when Isaiah said, "I love you." Simone's heart skipped. She looked at him, this good man who'd been patient and kind and supportive through everything. "I love you too," she said, meaning it. They kissed as the sun disappeared below the horizon, and Simone felt something she hadn't felt in years: genuine happiness. Not just contentment or relief, but real, deep happiness. The kind that came from knowing you were exactly where you were supposed to be, with exactly who you were supposed to be with. Her past with Derek felt like a different lifetime. She'd survived it. She'd learned from it. And now she was thriving because of it. She wouldn't change what happened because it had led her here, to this moment, to this life, to this man. And that was worth everything she'd been through. June arrived with warm sunshine and blue skies. Simone stood on her back patio, coffee in hand, watching Sunny play in the yard. It was early morning, her favorite time of day. Peaceful. Quiet. Hers. A year ago, she'd been in the middle of a divorce, her life in chaos, her heart broken. Now she had everything she'd ever wanted. Maybe not in the way she'd originally planned, but in a better way. A more authentic way. Her phone buzzed with a text from Isaiah. "Morning, beautiful. Dinner at our place tonight? I'll cook." She smiled. Our place. They'd been splitting time between her house and his condo, though lately, they'd been talking about maybe finding a place together. Nothing rushed, but the idea was there. Simone was open to it in a way she never would have been a year ago. She'd learned that she could be independent and still share her life with someone. The key was finding the right someone. Sounds perfect, she texted back. I'll bring wine. She got ready for work, feeling good about the day ahead. She had a closing on a major property that would net her a $30,000 commission. She had a team meeting where she'd be announcing promotions for 2 of her junior agents. And she had a lunch meeting with her boss to discuss her potential promotion to regional director. Life was good. Really, really good. As she drove to work, her phone rang. Tyler. She hadn't heard from him in months. She answered cautiously. Hello. Hey Simone. I hope it's okay that I'm calling. I wanted to give you an update on Derek. Her stomach tightened, but she kept her voice neutral. What kind of update? He finished rehab last month. He's been sober for 3 months now. He got a new job, nothing fancy but it's stable. And he's in therapy working on himself. He asked me to tell you that he's sorry. Really truly sorry. He's not asking for forgiveness or for you to contact him. He just wanted you to know that he takes full responsibility for what happened and that he's working on being a better person. Simone was quiet for a moment. Then she said, I'm glad he's getting help. I really am. I hope he stays sober and builds a good life for himself. But that life doesn't include me. You understand that, right? I do. I told him the same thing. He knows it's over. He's accepted it. He's moving on too in his own way. I just thought you deserved to know that he's not spiraling anymore. Thank you for telling me. Take care, Tyler. You too, Simone. She hung up and sat in her car for a moment before going into the office. Derek was getting better. She genuinely meant that. She didn't want him to suffer forever. But his recovery didn't change anything between them. They were still divorced. They would still never speak again. His healing was his own journey, separate from hers. The closing went smoothly. The team meeting was productive. The lunch with her boss ended with an offer. Regional director, overseeing 3 offices, with a salary of $150,000 a year plus bonuses and commissions. She'd be one of the youngest regional directors in the company. She accepted immediately. That evening she went to Isaiah's condo for dinner. He'd made her favorite, grilled salmon with roasted vegetables and a fresh salad. They ate on his balcony, watching the city lights come on as the sun set. I got promoted today, she told him. Regional director. That's amazing. Congratulations. He raised his wine glass. To the most successful, beautiful, and incredible woman I know. She clinked her glass against his. To new beginnings. Speaking of which, Isaiah said, setting down his glass. I've been thinking. My lease is up in 2 months. And you've been talking about wanting more space at your house. What if we looked for a place together? Something that's ours, not yours or mine, but ours. Simone's heart raced, but in a good way. Are you sure? That's a big step. I'm sure. I love you. I love our life together. And I want to make it official. Not marriage, not yet, but living together. Building something together. What do you think? She looked at him, this man who'd been there for her through her healing, who'd never pushed, who'd always respected her boundaries, who made her laugh and feel safe and loved. I think yes. Let's do it. They spent the rest of the evening looking at real estate listings online, dreaming about their future home. It felt right. It felt like the next chapter, one she was choosing freely without pressure or obligation. Over the next few weeks, Simone's life continued to improve. She started her new role as regional director and loved the challenge. She and Isaiah found a beautiful house with a big yard for the dogs, hardwood floors, and a gourmet kitchen. They put in an offer and it was accepted. They'd move in August. In July, Simone ran into Amber at a grocery store. It was unavoidable. They turned a corner at the same time and came face to face. Amber looked better than she had the last time Simone had seen her. Healthier. Less frantic. She had a young man with her, maybe her boyfriend. Simone, Amber said quietly. Amber. They stood there for an awkward moment. Then Amber said, I owe you an apology. For everything. The affair, showing up at your office, the lawsuit. All of it. I was wrong. I made terrible choices and I tried to blame you for the consequences. I'm sorry. Simone studied her. She looked sincere. I accept your apology. I hope you've learned from it and that you're doing better now. I am. I got a new job. I'm in therapy. I'm trying to be a better person. I hope you're doing well too. I am. Very well, actually. They nodded at each other and went their separate ways. No drama. No anger. Just 2 women who'd been caught up in a messy situation, both moving forward with their lives. Simone felt nothing but relief that the encounter was over. August came fast. Moving day arrived and Simone packed up her house with mixed emotions. She'd loved this house. It had been her sanctuary, her safe place, her fresh start after Derek. But now she was ready for the next adventure. A home she'd chosen with Isaiah, a future they'd build together. As she walked through the empty rooms one last time, she thought about everything that had happened here. The discovery of the affair. The planning of her revenge. The divorce. The healing. The rebuilding. This house had witnessed her transformation from a heartbroken wife to a strong, independent woman. She'd always be grateful for that. But now it was time to move forward. She locked the door for the last time and drove to her new house, where Isaiah was waiting with pizza and champagne. Their furniture was being delivered tomorrow, but tonight they'd camp out on air mattresses and celebrate their new beginning. To us, Isaiah said, raising his plastic cup of champagne. To us, Simone echoed. To new homes, new adventures, and new happiness. They clinked cups and drank, then sat on the floor of their empty living room talking about their plans. Where to put the furniture. What colors to paint. How to landscape the yard. It all felt possible and exciting. Later that night, as Simone lay on the air mattress next to Isaiah with Sonny and Coda sprawled around them, she thought about Derek. She wondered if he was happy now. If he'd found peace. She hoped he had. Not because she cared about him specifically, but because she believed everyone deserved a chance at happiness, even people who'd made mistakes. But more than that, she thought about herself. About how far she'd come. About how she'd taken the worst betrayal of her life and turned it into motivation to build something better. She'd gotten her revenge not through anger or bitterness but through success. Through thriving. Through becoming the best version of herself. Derek had wanted to break her, whether he'd meant to or not. But she hadn't broken. She'd bent and then she'd stood back up stronger than before. And that was the sweetest revenge of all. In September, Simone hosted a housewarming party. Her friends, her team from work, her mother, even Tyler and some of Derek's family members who'd stayed in touch came to celebrate. Everyone admired the house, complimented their decorating, and toasted to their happiness. At one point, Simone found herself on the back patio alone for a moment, looking out at the yard where the dogs were playing. Her mother came out and stood beside her. "You look happy, baby," her mother said. "I am, Mom. Really happy. Happier than I've been in a long time. You deserve it. You know that, right? After everything you went through, you deserve all of this and more." "I know. It took me a while to believe it, but I know now." Her mother hugged her. "I'm proud of you. Not just for surviving but thriving. You took a bad situation and made something beautiful from it." "Thanks, Mom. I couldn't have done it without you teaching me to be strong." They went back inside together and Simone rejoined the party. Isaiah caught her eye from across the room and winked at her. She smiled back, feeling full of gratitude and joy. Later that month, Simone was at a charity gala for a local youth organization. Her company had bought a table and she was there with her team and some clients. The event was beautiful, held in a historic hotel ballroom with elegant decorations and live music. During the cocktail hour, she was talking to a potential client when someone approached her. It was Patricia, Derek's mother. Simone hadn't seen her since that day on her porch 8 months ago. "Simone," Patricia said softly, "I hope I'm not intruding. I'm here with the church group. I just wanted to say hello." "Hi, Patricia. It's good to see you. You look wonderful. Happy. I heard you got promoted and moved into a beautiful new home." "I did. Life has been good." Patricia smiled sadly. "I'm glad. You deserve happiness. I wanted you to know that Derek is doing better too. He's been sober for 6 months. He's working steady. He's not the same person he was. But I'm not telling you this to try to change anything. I know that ship has sailed. I just wanted you to know that he's okay. In case you ever wondered. I appreciate that. I'm glad he's getting his life together." "He is. And I think losing you was the wake-up call he needed. He knows he'll never get another chance with you, but he's using that pain to motivate himself to be better. For himself, not for anyone else." Simone nodded. "That's good. That's what he should be doing." "I also want to thank you," Patricia said, "for showing my son what real strength looks like. For not taking him back when he didn't deserve it. For teaching him that actions have consequences. You did him a favor even if it didn't feel like it at the time." Simone felt tears prick her eyes. "That means a lot. Thank you." They hugged briefly, then Patricia excused herself to rejoin her group. Simone watched her go, feeling a sense of closure. This was it. The final piece. Derek's family understood. Derek understood. Everyone had moved on. There was no more drama, no more complications, just peace. The rest of the year flew by. Simone excelled in her new role, exceeding every goal her company set. She and Isaiah settled into their home, making it truly theirs with art, furniture, and memories. They traveled to Italy in October, that trip Simone had always wanted to take. They hiked the Amalfi Coast, ate amazing food, and talked about their dreams for the future. In November, Isaiah's daughter from a previous relationship came to visit for Thanksgiving. Her name was Zara, and she was 10 years old. Simone had been nervous about meeting her, but Zara was sweet and curious and easy to like. They cooked together, played with the dogs, and watched movies. By the end of the weekend, Zara was calling Simone by name and asking when she could come back. "She really likes you," Isaiah said after Zara left. "That means everything to me." "I really like her too," Simone replied honestly. "She's a great kid. I know we haven't talked about this much, but what do you think about kids? Someday, I mean." Simone thought about it. A year ago she would have said no immediately. She'd been too hurt, too raw. But now, "I think I'd like that. Someday. When we're ready. No pressure. Just wanted to know where your head was at." "My head is at happy. Everything else we'll figure out when the time comes." December arrived again, marking 1 full year since Simone had been served with divorce papers. Actually, since she'd served Derek with papers. She could hardly believe how much had changed in 12 months. She'd gone from broken and angry to whole and joyful. She'd built a career she was proud of, a home she loved, and a relationship that fulfilled her. On the anniversary of that day, she and Isaiah had a quiet dinner at home. She told him the story of everything that had happened, filling in details she hadn't shared before. He listened, holding her hand across the table. "You know what the best revenge is?" he asked when she finished. "What?" "This. Living well. Being happy. Not carrying around anger or bitterness. You won, Simone. Not because you hurt him back, but because you moved on and built something better. That's real victory." She smiled. "You're right. I did win. And I'm not even mad anymore. I'm just grateful. Grateful it happened because it led me here." "That's beautiful. And mature. And very you." They clinked glasses and finished their dinner, then spent the evening curled up on the couch with the dogs, watching snow fall outside their window. Life was simple. Life was good. Life was exactly what Simone had always deserved. As the year came to a close, Simone reflected on everything she'd learned. She'd learned that she was stronger than she thought. That she could survive betrayal and come out better for it. That revenge didn't have to mean destruction, it could mean success. That letting go was more powerful than holding on. That she didn't need anyone to complete her, but she could choose to share her life with someone who added to it. Most importantly, she'd learned that she was enough. Just as she was. With or without a partner. With or without validation from others. She was whole, complete, and worthy of love and respect. Derek's betrayal had tried to tell her otherwise, but she'd proven him wrong in every way. On New Year's Eve, exactly 1 year after she'd kissed Isaiah for the first time, they were at another party with friends. When midnight came and everyone counted down, Isaiah pulled her close. "This past year with you has been the best of my life," he said. "Mine too. Here's to many more." "To many more," she agreed, and they kissed as fireworks exploded outside. Simone had gotten her revenge. Not through anger or cruelty, but through living well. Through succeeding. Through thriving. Through becoming the woman she was always meant to be. Derek had tried to break her, but he'd only made her stronger. And now she was living her best life with no regrets and no looking back. She'd won. Not because Derek had lost, but because she'd gained everything that mattered. Love, success, happiness, peace, freedom. And that was the sweetest victory of all.